failure took our good friend Nick Bauer from us. He was 74 years old. I first met Nick and Deb over 10 years ago on a film set about Ethel Allen. They were using Nick's car, and I was an actor on the set. My part was to identify a dead body. And when I screamed, it scared Nick, and he came up to me and said, "You really scared me. You're a really good actor." And we've been friends ever since. He actually had a walk-in part as a bartender. Another film he was in was called Don't Tell Your Mother, where they used just his car for that. He had often come to the Melbourne Independent Film Festival to see films he was in or other films, and a lot of films that I made. He was looking forward to coming this year to see a film I made that also had his car in it. Nick was even in one of my films, Ask God. And he helped me find my first antique car, a Shea Model A that I call Miss Daisy. Nick was known throughout the community for his various causes, including attending car shows, charities, and helping young boys at the school auto mechanics class. Nick's car, Miss May, formerly owned by Mae West, was his pride and joy, a 1931 Auburn, and he won a lot of awards and trophies with it. I don't know if it was Nick's charm or the car that was the chick magnet, but women were always wanting to take their picture with Nick and Miss May. I found a short film about his car that I want to include here. Fellow filmmaker and antique car owner, George Denson, made a film where he interviewed Nick about Miss May, and I wanted to share that with you.
Hello everyone, I'm George Denson. Welcome to Hot Rods, Customs, and Classics. And today we have a celebrity on the show, Mae West. Well, not the real Mae West, you know, she's passed away. But as some of you may know, she was one of the biggest actresses of all times. She's credited in saving Hollywood back in the 30s. And today, we're going to be talking with a gentleman who actually owns the car that she used to have. If you look behind me, you just see some of the trophies that he's won from this car. Now, and there's so much story here, it may end up taking up the whole show. As a matter of fact, check this out over here. This is the steamer trunk. Now, guess what? This guy bought the car and had the steamer trunk for 2 years before he even opened it up. He didn't know it was Mae West's car. This held the secret to the rest of the thing. So here's the car. It's a 1931 Auburn. And what we're going to do is we're going to kick off the show and we're going to tell you all about it right now. So here we are, we're kicking off the show with Nick Bauer. And Nick, this is such an iconic story.
Thank you.
Let's start with, you wanted an Auburn. You started looking for one, you found one, right?
Yes, I did.
And how did that come to be?
Well, I had an old friend that promised me a 32 Auburn since I was 12 years old when I'd ridden around in his. Darn the luck I didn't end up with it because he ended up having Alzheimer's and forgot his promises and it went down the road.
Yeah.
As soon as I found out, which was in 2005, I started shopping and looking.
Yeah.
And I started with my car club, Minnesota Street Rod Association, and I found one in my car club.
Wow, awesome.
And I called them on the phone and lo and behold, it was open for sale.
Cool.
So I chased the car up, met with the owner, and we had a meeting of the minds, and I bought the car.
Cool, wow. And when you bought it, now we know it's Mae West's car, and there's a big story about that, but when you bought it, you didn't know it was Mae West's car. He didn't know it was Mae West's car.
No, you didn't.
Let's talk about that a minute, and we're gonna show the trunk. We're gonna get into detail about that. But you had the car for how long before you knew that story?
Oh, geez, I think I had it for almost 3 years.
Really?
Before I figured it out, because
Yeah.
I had been trying to chase the history on the car, which was pretty tough.
Yeah.
You know, it was a lot of work chasing it down. And lo and behold, thanks to ACD, Randy Ema there, and
What is
quite
the ACDC? Isn't that a rock group?
That's the Auburn
Oh,
Cord
okay.
Duesenberg
Okay.
Company.
All right.
And
So he helped you with the history.
yeah,
Okay.
he helped me with the history
And
on it.
but then how'd you actually find out it was Mae West's car?
Well, because first I found out that the previous owner to the person I bought it from a Dale Klee. The previous owner from him was Jim Timoney. And when I chased up Jim Timoney, it turned out that Jim Timoney was Mae West's manager and consort. Mae West's manager and
Yeah,
consort
okay.
for her whole life.
Wow.
So I chased up and found a title in his name, and when I was chasing that up, I realized that there was a connection.
So let's talk about, I mean, this is like really cool here, the way, now I know what is it, brass? I mean, what is that exactly?
This is the actual hood ornament that would have been on the car in 1931.
Uh-huh.
According to Auburn records, this is the hood ornament available for the car.
Wow.
It wasn't on the car when I got it. There
Yeah.
were quite a few things missing
I
that
bet. Yeah.
you know, Dale Klee wasn't able to find
Yeah.
in his work on it. So I actually made this from a mold in brass.
Really?
And then I filed it out and finished it with a Dremel tool and plated it and made the hood ornament.
Wow.
Because I couldn't find one anywhere to be bought. And it is the actual Mercury Man.
The engine's not original,
No, it
but
isn't.
let's take a look at the engine next because, and let's talk about that. So this is not the original motor, this is, I don't know. I'm sort of glad it's changed because, you know, you've already done it, but what was the original motor?
The original motor was an 898, and that was a flathead 8 with 98 horsepower made by Lycoming.
Wow.
And that was what was available in the Auburns and quite a few other cars at that time. That engine manufacturer supplied them.
Yeah.
And that is what was in here with a 3-speed and a 2-speed rear end.
Now, this guy looks very unassuming, but I know for a fact that you've built a lot of hot rods. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And he's a little crazy in the head like me. This car has run one, easy for me to say, it has won a burnout contest against 70 other cars.
Yes.
You know how much this car is worth? You're doing burnouts with it? Okay, well, guess what we're going to do later? Tell me about the motor.
Okay. Well, basically, Dale Klee had put this motor together for the car. And it's a 500 Caddy, you know, the 502 motor
yes.
that came out in '72. It was a 500 with 500 horsepower. And we have it backed up with a 400 turbo with a 3,000 stall torque converter. And then it has a Camaro rear end, posi rear end with 411 gears.
It'll go.
It puts it to the ground pretty fast.
Well, I mean, it's. Do you have an idea how much this car even weighs? Is it?
Well, it's a very heavy
Has
car.
wood. You said it's built with a lot of wood.
Yeah, it is. It's built with a tremendous amount of wood. The trunk is actually overlaid over wood entirely. All the roof is overlaid over wood, and the subflooring area is all wood yet. So the car was really kept all original except for the change in the powertrain.
Yeah.
And it's a very heavy car, getting close to 6,000 pounds with weight.
After the break, we check out the inside of the Auburn, and then we take it for a spin. Let's talk about, while we're here, let's talk about the wheels, the rims a little bit. Is that sort of like that era, this era, or is this?
Well, it's an era correct look, but those are Kelsey Hayes wires. And basically I wanted a high-speed wheel, and Dale Klee had put these on the car, and I just used what he had because they were right. You know, he did a good job. They're stable at high speeds, 80 miles an hour. You can brake and turn. It has dual master cylinder now and disc brakes going on there.
I got a feeling you've been a little faster than 80 miles an hour in this car. I'm just saying. Anyway.
Not as far as my insurance agent knows.
There you go. 70, it says 70. Okay, yeah, there you go.
But basically I stripped the chrome off the outer side and then painted the wheels to match, keeping the chrome spokes, and then did the pin strip. And I did all the paint work and all the pinstriping, everything myself, no sublet on any of this work on the car.
Yeah.
I did the body off restoration.
Well, it's a work of art. I mean, let's step back here a little bit. I mean,
Sure.
check, and there's one on both sides. You've got, what a good place for a spare tire. The horns are set up. You've got your rear view on here, and this is interesting the way they've actually done this.
Yeah.
Now, did you have to find this to research this, or was this?
This was already on the car, but I did the reconstruction on the straps and the mirrors off of photos from 1932 and 3 for these types of Auburns.
Yeah.
I found a lot of pictures with that, and then made the cover up, and I still had to run the little pizza cutter nylon tire underneath there to fit the hole in the wheel well, because it's quite small compared to the size of the tires on the car.
Now, we were talking about the car. When you originally got it, it was not this color.
When I originally got it, it was dark blue with black fenders, and that color had been painted on by Mae West manager Jim Timoney. And it had held that color from 1935 when he painted over this yellow to 2006 when I repainted the car.
Wow.
And I found the original color and stripping it. Then did some phone calls to the Antique Auto Club and ACD, Auburn Cord Duesenberg, and got this original car.
You actually own the rights to these, some of these pictures you have and stuff like this. That's great.
That was part of it. I went online. You find everything online, you know.
Wow.
And I found photos and information, and there was her car in a Paramount picture, a photograph that I was able to buy of the car.
Wow.
With Paramount Studios naming it as her car in 1935.
Okay, we're gonna talk about the interior and the trunk and all this, but I'm not of that era, let's just say. But some history about Mae West. You said in what, 32? She was
Yep. By 1932, she had moved from New York, where she was doing stage plays, to California, to Hollywood.
Wow.
And in 1932, she was actually the highest paid woman in America, according to Internal Revenue records. And by 1937, she was the second highest paid person in America.
Wow.
Behind William Hearst.
And you said that she is responsible for saving a whole industry.
Well, she certainly is credited with saving Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood, yeah.
She had 6 top #1 hit movies in a row, boom, 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 from 32 on. And that created the funding and the support to grow Hollywood and keep it working through the Great Depression.
What do you think? Well, we have made a good where's my hand? Will we made a good couple or what? Check this out. This is nice. And this was typically how she dressed and how she looked. And you know, what she wore?
Well, it was like the car. It was part of supporting her flamboyant
I'll
image.
sit you down here, Miss
This is
West.
this is actually how she was able to support her flamboyant image.
Yeah.
And her ego was having a car like this.
Yeah, exactly. And if we look at the interior here, I know you're doing some work here and all this, and this is everything is always a work in progress. But tell us a little about the interior.
Well, the interior is leather, and when I redid the interior, I ordered hides to be made, and I did the interior, including the headliner in leather. So the interior is all done in cowhide leather, custom made with real alligator inserts on the door panels.
Wow.
Because rumor was that's how she did her door panels and her stuff. She loved the alligator stuff.
Wow.
So we included that in the kick panels as well.
I mean, the whole thing, it's really neat. The instrument cluster, everything about it.
I
Rides
kept
well.
it original.
Yeah.
I kept the original cluster that Clee had kept in there,
Yeah.
and I just converted it over to work with the equipment that I had. So those are the original instruments, just converted over.
You're going back in. Okay. Hi. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And
She's still enjoying
stay.
riding in her car.
Exactly. And so the top is leather vinyl these days. I mean,
It's a vinyl overlay,
yeah.
and the way I did that top was the top is all in one piece, and I used a very heavy vinyl, and I used a heat gun to stretch it so we have no seams on the top at all. And basically I covered the top with a foam and used a electric knife to carve it into the shape I wanted, and then I shaped it with a heat gun and stretched it down.
That's just that is incredible.
So it's all one piece.
What we're going to do is we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come right back, we're going to kick it off with the steamer trunk, and we're going to see what else is all about, because that by itself is a story. Well, that's going to start moving us to the back, and we're moving to the area with the steamer trunk, and that's a story in itself. We keep promising it, but you know, let's talk a little bit about the actual trunk itself.
Sure.
And I know you've got a lot of stuff in there, but it is it's heavy. It's wood. It's the car is built with a lot of wood. And if I can, I'm just gonna. How do I? How do I
Here, let
lift
me
this up?
do
Yeah,
that. I'll open
you
it
do
from
that
over
because
here.
okay, because I want to see this here. And like I said, we don't have to get inside there because I know you asked me to clean it out. I said no, keep it the same. And but we'll get some shots underneath here and everything. But it's very interesting.
Now this is all wood.
Yeah.
It's all wood construction, including the bracing that goes from the top to the bottom, back to front, and side to side in that trunk is all wood, and it's all glued on to the steel overlay.
Wow.
So it really is wood, and all the framing around the drip rails inside of the trunk there, that's all nailed on with wood.
Yeah.
So the car really is a wood car.
It's amazing.
With the metal shaped over it.
Wow. That is definitely art. I mean that's
Well, they
wild.
were one-off handmade,
Yeah,
these
handmade,
cars,
yeah.
and this basically was a one-off handmade,
Wow.
special order custom Code A car.
Yeah. Well, let's close this down, and what we're going to do is talk a little bit about the trunk, and tell me a little bit about it, and then we're going to actually talk about what was inside and stuff. So,
Well, in 1931, when the vehicle was ordered, they were able to order these special options, the dual side mounts in the steamer trunk. Made a touring package. This is a touring car, and it doesn't have a rumble seat. It's like a business coupe. It has a trunk. But she needed the trunk for her space because she had all these flamboyant clothes she had to drag with
Yeah.
her. So just the trunk wasn't enough. She had to have a steamer trunk behind it to
Wow.
fit her stuff in. And basically, this is the steamer trunk, and it came from the factory with fitted luggage
wow.
for Mae West.
Isn't that
This-
crazy?
And that's there's two of these in there. You have this one and another one back there, matching silk lined luggage. And basically, she has her return label there and another one on the inside. And lo and behold, when I opened it up, you can see there's pockets in here. In the pocket in here was this beautiful purse from the Era Correct purse. And certainly we're looking for photos right now online to find her with that purse. so I
What
can
did
have
you
that one.
say the other day? Something about how what was it? She had something just sold for like crazy amount of money.
Well, her makeup case on eBay drew $32,000.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really does impact.
So this trunk, I mean, I think what is it worth, $50,000 or $60,000 by itself, maybe?
Yes, I would think so. I called my insurance agent, and
Yeah.
he said, "Well, we'll have some folks come out and put a penny on it and see
Yeah.
what we come up with. And
Yeah.
they came out and they were thinking around 80
Wow.
for it is what
Can you
they
imagine?
name it.
You buy a car, okay, you get it home. I mean, this is the kind of day I want to have, where I'm sitting there. I mean, 3 years of sitting there, and all of a sudden, you look at it one day and go, "Wow, whose name is that?" Marilyn Jane West, and you go, Marilyn Jane West. Why was that so? That's Mae West. I got Mae West's car. You know, yeah. I'd be like, yay. And yeah, that is.
Well, it was a surprise to find,
Yeah.
especially after, I wasn't going to do this yellow originally.
Yeah.
I had already bought the colors to do it in platinum in the middle and black fenders.
Yeah, wow.
Until I got it stripped down and found that yellow.
Well, let's get ready to take this thing for a ride. How hard is it to get in?
Well, you got to kind of sit in backwards.
Okay. All right. I'm getting
But
there.
it is a lot roomier than the Model A.
Yeah.
You really can't fit 2 guys in the front
Yeah,
of this.
it's not bad. Now,
Pretty big.
before we go for a ride, tell me about the story about this burnout.
Well, I was at an event up in Wisconsin, and they were having a burnout contest. There were about 70 guys lined up doing the burnouts, and I was just about at the end of the guys doing the burnout, and I pulled up there, and everybody thought it was a joke, because I built the car looking like it's, when I redid the car, it looks
Yeah.
like it's original.
Wow.
Who would have thought that
Yeah.
it had a little bit of oomph in it? So
Yeah.
I pulled up there and I lit them up, and I got a good start. And this thing, once you get it up to RPMs, it doesn't go forward. It just sits there.
Really? Wow.
If you bring the gas down just a little, it goes like hell.
Yeah,
But
wow.
once the wheels break loose, it's so heavy, it's hard to get it moving.
70 cars, you come in first place.
Absolutely.
Congratulations. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's see if it take
Okay.
it for a ride. Let's see what it'll do here.
Okay. Sounds like a sleeper too.
It does, doesn't it? A nice quiet car.
Yeah.
Let's see what it'll do here. Dang! Mae West would be so proud. Okay, you've convinced me. I think it's got a little bit of power. So, what do you say you let me take it for a drive and see what it drives like?
Okie doke. Don't have a problem with that.
Yeah,
Are we having fun yet?
I am having. Every time I do burnouts, every time I get it right, I'm fine. I'll be okay. So cool. All right, here we go. Okay, pull up, circle out, and
Yep,
jump out.
She's all yours, buddy.
Woohoo.
I'll make sure this door is shut tight.
Oh, okay. Good.
Suicide doors. I want you to stay in.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna take off before he gets in here. Oh, I guess I'm gonna let him get in here. Oh, he said wait. Okay. 3-speed automatic, 4-speed.
3-speed automatic.
Okay, cool. All right. Very nice.
That makes a nice cruiser.
It does.
With the updates that Dale Clee did, it really goes down the road at 75, 80, okay,
Yeah.
and could tow at 70 if I need to.
What's
So,
the longest trip you've ever been on?
From Minneapolis to Fort Lauderdale.
Wow.
That was a pretty good run.
I bet.
We had the Airstream behind it.
Over here, I saw when I got in, there's a little plate over there. It says something about 100 miles an hour.
Well, I'll read it for you. It says, this certifies that this Auburn automobile has been driven at 100.1 miles per hour before shipment. And it's signed by the person that put the car together, it looks like,
Wow.
before Auburn delivered it.
That is-
So it was a very, very fast car
Yeah.
right out of the box. This Auburn Cord Duesenberg company was known for race cars back then. Of
Oh,
course.
really?
The Duesenbergs and Auburns were winning everything that was out there at the time when this car was produced. That's the way they found the market, was by winning the races.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, folks. Another great show of Hot Rods, Customs, and Classics, and the Mae West Auburn Special. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed just everything about today. The information, the history of the car, taking it for a ride. Everything was so much fun. I'd like to thank Nick and Debbie for letting me come out to their house and hang out with them for the day and putting up with me. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Nick, for the memories. You'll be sorely missed. May you rest in peace, Nick.